Hello,
Hey, everybody.
Happy Friday. Woohoo.
Happy TDIF, everybody.
Thank you, dog. It's Friday. So glad to have you with us here today. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we're here. We're here. We're super excited to be with you. So happy to have you here with us as well. If you don't know who we are, I'm Patty Quinn, and I'm here with Hillary Buchholz.
Hello, everybody.
And we are the co-founders of We Heart Hounds. We are DIY crazy canine crafters. We love to get together every Friday and do all kinds of crafts, recipes, all kinds of fun things in honor of our love for pups. And today we have a really cool, super neat, really fun project to do. I can't wait to put it together. So just FYI, if you happen to know any other dog moms or dog dads who would be interested, please sprinkle the love. Let everybody know. The more the merrier. We really enjoy doing this with everybody. So anyway, let's jump in. Today's craft is called we've called it a couple different things. So either a personalized paw print button art, or it's also using kind of this reverse canvas technique. So our famous Dollar Tree canvases that we just absolutely adore, we're going to use those as the basis of our craft today. And the first thing you'll need is this canvas, 6x8. I think Hillary has a larger one. I have a little one today, so it's 5x7. Either size will work. You could go bigger if you'd like, but these are kind of roughly the size that we're going to be working with today. And then the first thing to do is we're going to take the canvas part off the frame, just to give it a little zhuzh. We're going to dress it up a little bit. And there's a really easy technique to get the canvas off that Hillary is going to do. And I didn't happen to have a razor, so I used a flathead screwdriver and just really popped off all the staples on the back. So Hillary, if you want to describe.
Yeah, so if you just cut with an Xacto blade, then you can kind of tear the canvas out from underneath those staples.
Right.
So, as you can see, I'm just kind of cutting it and just tearing it from the underneath the staples.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave those staples in because they're going to be covered up by that canvas afterwards. So
yeah,
the difference between what Patty had to do, which is taking all the staples out.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're not going to see this because it'll be covered up by the canvas. So you don't actually have to take those staples out. If you can cut it along it.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I would recommend is to leave in the corner staples that hold the wood in place. So as I'm unveiling my canvas here, there are going to be staples in the corner that you're going to want to keep for sure. If you're taking staples out, you want to leave those in because that keeps the frame together.
And I think depending on the size of your canvas, because mine don't have those diagonal ones that go across the corner.
Yeah, so. Right. But even still, I think there are some fasteners in the corners. You're just going to want to keep those in place. Yep. Those I think are harder to get out anyway, so it's a good thing we don't have to tackle them. That's great. And then you could just set the canvas aside, because then the next step we're going to do is we're going to kind of paint/stain the canvas. Which is a really neat technique. All right.
So I got just a few that are.
Believe it or not, what Hillary's doing goes a lot faster than pulling those staples out one at a time. I'm sure you can tell. This is a really fun technique. We've done it before. So if you check in our playlist, I think there's another piece that we had done with this reverse canvas technique. And what's really neat about it is the front side of the canvas is kind of that white, but the back side has got this really neat oatmeal texture to it that we just love. It really almost instantly, there you go, almost instantly makes your piece more rustic and kind of homey and all that good stuff. So it's a really neat trick to kind of reverse the canvas when you can. All right, good deal. So then the next step you're going to do is get a cloth down. We're going to be doing some painting. Just grab some wet wipes and your favorite brown color of acrylic paint. So I've got kind of a coffee latte color here that I'm using.
And I'm actually using a chalk paint, but...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll work.
You could also use shoe polish if you wanted to, like just something that'll give you a nice brown tone.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're not really painting. I mean, we're using paint, but we're not painting with the paint. We're going to be kind of doing a wet wash with the paint. And what's nice about that is you can see the grains of the wood and everything through it, which is nice. So you just get a little dab of paint on your wet wipe and you're basically covering all the wood with color and then rubbing it right back off. And this is so easy, so simple. And it doesn't take a whole lot of paint to do this either.
Yeah. You just kind of barely dab in. Yeah,
I'm almost all the way around the front already.
If I can get some paint on my...
Sprinkle some love for Hillary. Today she's having a Friday moment.
Yes, we are. It's been one of those mornings, I'll tell you. Anybody that's ever fought with a printer can understand my pain.
All right. And then you just want to go around 3 of the edges. Again, the edges of the side with the staples, you don't need to worry about staining because you won't see that part.
Yeah.
The other tip is when you do the inside of the frame, really try to get into those corners, those nooks and crannies. Those can be some of the harder places to get. But I mean, how fast, how easy. What's nice about this too is it dries pretty quickly. You know, paint can take a while to dry.
And I just love the fact that you still get some of that wood shining through. So
exactly.
A little bit more rustic and
right. And some of these wood pieces are a little rustic and a little rough. So if you wanted to, you could take some sandpaper, just some light sandpaper, and kind of sand it down before you started, or you can sand it afterwards if you want to kind of smooth some of the edges and give it a really worn look. That's another technique you can do.
Yeah, in the rougher parts, the places where it's a little bit more rough in texture, that's going to soak up that paint a little bit more too. So
yeah, right. Getting into those corners, because you will see those on the inside. All right.
I'm kind of getting around. They have these little staple areas in the corners. So kind of getting in there and getting a nice good coat around.
Right. Yeah. Soaking in there. Any of those indentations. This is a project your kiddos could do. I mean, really, this is so simple and so easy. But honestly, it turns out so nice. You're going to want to do it yourself. You're going to want to have one for yourself.
And you could definitely customize it. Like, you don't have to use brown. Like, if you wanted to go with your decor, you could use a different color paint and still do this kind of stain technique. So.
That's a really great point. Great idea. Yeah. If you wanted to do blues or greens or red or orange or gray. Yeah. We're kind of going with browns to match the buttons that we're using, but you could use buttons that are any color.
Yep.
And it would be so cute for a little kid's room, right? Little baby's room.
Exactly. You could customize them for each, they could pick their favorite color. So you can have it.
How sweet would that be? All right. It's funny. Some of the wood looks a little fuzzy because it's so rough. It's got like fur. But it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to paint. And I love this technique. It's so easy. And it makes the wood look so much richer, more interesting.
A little bit more finish too, like it definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Got one more side here.
Yeah, no worries. But you can see the back isn't done. See, you could tell how light it was, and now what a rich color you get with all the wood grains showing through, which is really nice.
So
it's really sweet. Yeah. Oh, I love yours. That's cute.
There's the back.
Yeah, you can see the difference in the difference in color really brings out a different character of your piece. All right, so the next step, oh my gosh, this is so easy, so fun. We're just going to cut along the fold, the inside fold of our canvas so that it matches the same size as the frame. We're not going to be wrapping the canvas around anymore. We're just going to need a flat piece of canvas that is the same size as the frame that we just stained. So just cutting along the fold.
Wiping off my fingers real quick because my painting method was a little messier than I anticipated. Yeah. So if you don't want to get little brown fingerprints.
And this project would be, I mean, it's so easy and so fast. You could actually do one for all your pups. This is a personalized artwork, piece of art, and we're going to end up with our dog's name on it, which is really kind of fun. All right. You could almost even go inside that fold just a little bit if you wanted to. I think I'm going a little bit on the outside, so I'll be trimming some of the excess off, but you really can't mess this part up. You get near the fold and you're good to go.
Yeah, you just want it to be enough to be able to glue back down to that canvas or that frame, I mean.
Right,
so
exactly.
You don't want to go too far on the inside because then it'd be too skinny to glue into the frame. But you can also trim off any of the excess once you're done and once you get it glued back down.
Yeah, which I think I'll be doing. I'll be trimming some of the excess. But so you can see it's roughly the right size. So you're going to take the oatmeal side. I've got my white side here. I've got my oatmeal side here. The oatmeal side, and here's the back of my frame. So the oatmeal side is going to be glued to the back of the frame so that the oatmeal side will show on the front when you flip it over.
And so some of them, this one doesn't have quite as much of a contrast between the front and back, but you can definitely tell there's like a coating on the front side. Right. So you want that kind of rougher texture on what now is going to be our reversed front. So
yeah, exactly. That'll be the front. So I've got a hot glue gun here, but I'm just going to use some fabric glue because I think it'll work faster and easier. The last time we did this, we used hot glue, and there's a technique you can check out our Love Pawprint reverse canvas tutorial. And there's a special technique if you're using hot glue, but I'm just putting fabric glue all along the edge here.
And if you're looking for a good fabric glue, this one, we've gone through a few different types. Yes. This one happens to be our personal, right now at the top of our list for the best one. It's the right amount of tacky. It doesn't take too long to start setting up.
Beacon Fix. Absolutely.
And it doesn't dry out super bad. Like some of them, once they're open, they dry out pretty darn quick.
Yeah, it's hard to get the rest of the glue out of the bottle. All right, so covered a whole of the back, and I'm taking, again, the oatmeal side is going to get glued down to the back of my frame. And then you're just going to kind of try and make it as taut as possible as you push down. You're kind of pulling outward. So you want the back to be as taut and tight as possible.
Yeah.
What's nice about the fabric glue is it will allow you to move it a little bit. So if it's buckled in one spot, you can adjust, which is another nice part of having the fabric glue. And then you can see I've got a little excess on the edge there, and I'll just trim that off.
You could also use, especially if you take the staples out. So the way that Patty did it, if you take those original staples out, you could also use a stapler to staple down the canvas again if you wanted to. I really think the hot glue, or the fabric glue. Both of those are a little bit easier than trying to do the staples. But whatever way you think is going to work best for you. So.
Yep, exactly.
So I'm just using my Xacto to trim off a little edge here.
All right, just pushing down again, getting a nice firm seal. All right, there we go. And this is a technique you can use. You could put anything in here, right? I mean, you could just, this is a blank canvas now that's really kind of cool and custom, something that you don't see very often, which I really, really like. So we're going to set this aside and let that dry for a little bit. And then the next step, oh my gosh, this is going to be fun. Oh, wait, I guess we have one more step to do. Sorry. We're going to take the scrapbook paper. Let's do that now. And then that will allow that allowed to dry as well. So we've just get a fun or funky piece of scrapbook paper that kind of fits the inside of your frame roughly. And then we're just going to tear the edges. And we're just going to make a rough and tough piece of scrapbook paper as a decorative backdrop for our paw print or button paw print that we're going to do.
So I'm just cutting a little chunk out of my paper here. It's a little bigger than I'll actually need, and then I'll tear off those edges.
Yeah. And again, the scrapbook paper can be custom, to the color of the frame that you stained, to the buttons that you're using, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm just eyeballing it. There's really no right or wrong.
And you do want to have a little bit of
edge,
a little bit of space around, so you see that canvas, and then you have the paper.
Yeah, exactly. So there's my rough piece. That looks so cute.
And again, this is another place where you can totally customize. So people get to pick their own. You're going to want something kind of neutral to go in the background. So even if you're using colors and things like that, you don't want a pattern that's going to be super bold, because the artwork that we're going to put on top, you don't want it to kind of compete with that backdrop.
Right. And you can see the main color that we're using is kind of a lighter pattern, because the buttons that we're choosing are darker. So those will pop off the paper that we're using. So you do want some kind of a contrast so that your paw print will shine. One more side to go. Yay.
Yep.
So this, again, we could use the hot glue gun to put this on our frame. But again, I'm going to use the fabric glue. Breaking all the rules today. We're not using fabric, but we're using fabric glue. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to go around the outer edge. I'm not going to put fabric glue in the center because I don't want the paper to get all bubbly. I just want to tack it down, basically. And this glue is nice and strong. It's a permanent adhesive, so your paper's not going anywhere. But I'm just going around the edge a little bit. And then we'll just plop that down. And again, what's nice about the fabric glue is you can shift and adjust and move your paper to right where you want it to go. Sometimes hot glue, you put it down and that's where it's sticking. So this is nice. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of an edge of the oatmeal canvas behind it. And I love the polka dot that I have has got some really fun browns and terracottas and some teal colors, which are pretty.
I have some little, it's hard to see, but I have some stripes and some little fleur-de-lis that are kind of in the background.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's nice. All right, now we can set it aside to dry. A little bit more. All right, the fun part. Well, another fun part, I should say.
Yep.
So the next step, these are all fun. So the next step is going to be kind of creating a paw print backdrop for our buttons to sit on. You could potentially actually just put the buttons on the paper itself. But I think what happens is you really want to give it that shape because there's so many curves in a paw print shape. Putting the buttons on the shape will help reinforce that shape when it's all said and done. So it is important, I think, to have something for it to go on. And I have really thin piece of cardboard, and I've just traced out a paw print on that.
And I just have, so this one is just a regular piece of paper, but what I actually did, we have this as a printable. It's in the description, or step-by-step instructions. There's a link to download this, but this is the size of paw print that we're using. And this one has a brown background. So I just printed mine on cardstock. But the nice thing about the cardboard is it'll give it a little bit, it'll make it a little bit thicker than just the cardstock does. So
right.
Depending on how you want to do it. But you can use this stencil. So if you have cardboard that you want to use, you can use this stencil, cut out your paw print, and then put it on your cardboard, trace around it, and then do exactly what Patty's doing now, which is just paint that backdrop, whatever color you want to. So it could be brown, it could be blue, depending on your buttons and your theme that you're going for.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just putting a light coat. I'm using the same coffee latte color that I stained the wood with just to make things easy. But yeah, you can see I basically just paint all the parts and pieces of the paw print, and then I end up cutting those out, right? Yep. So then you have your shape to work with. Then the next step is putting the buttons, gluing the buttons onto the paw print pieces. And the technique for that, I used fabric glue again. I did not want to use hot glue for that because some of the buttons get really, really tiny, and holding that with hot glue, I mean, you're bound to burn yourself, right? So the technique for putting your buttons down at first is you're going to, first of all, dig through your button stash, find some of your absolute favorite buttons. Yes, I've got a stash right here. I left my stash at home, so I've got these.
These ones I happened to get at Walmart. So they came in this little jar, and it's got a bunch of different textures. Some of them have cute designs, things like that. The ones that Patty did, I think you got from Amazon. Same idea.
Some of them they look like there's sewn stitches on them and stuff, but even still, just some with just some wording on them and kind of different colors and tones to them. Some of them have little patterns and just you want an eclectic mix. And I would suggest the smaller the button, the better. Maybe medium to small size buttons. The large buttons are not going to work for this size paw print. So you're going to want to stick with the smaller ones. And then basically you start putting your larger buttons down. Again, I was using the fabric glue with this, and you want a layer that's fairly flat on your paw print pieces. So you can see I'm starting to put some of the larger pieces down, and they're all relatively flat. And then you build up a second layer of buttons on top of that have a little maybe more character and things like that as well. And then you can see at the end of that video, if you want to play it one more time, I also have included, and this is the personalization part, these letter beads, which are so cute, the alphabet beads. And so I picked out the letters for Ginger's name, and I'm adding those as well. So you can do the buttons first, and then you can put your letters in place. And then the last step you're going to do is grab some, I have some kind of copper colored glass beads, and I put those and filled in some of the gaps around the outer area of the shape to kind of, again, reinforce that paw print, the curvature of the paw print and everything like that. So you can see how that works.
So these were, I have a little bit different beads because the ones Patty is using were sold out. So mine are a little bit bigger. So if you have a 4-letter word, like once you get real big, it's going to be hard to fit all the letters onto your paw print. You might need to use the little
toes and stuff.
Like that. So yeah. And then I found these at Dollar Tree, and I'm using the bottom. These ones are super duper tiny little beads. Yeah. And then these are just some kind of that brownish kind of coppery color.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So here you can see
some of these guys as well.
So you can see what the paw print looks like. So this is that cardboard piece. I painted it brown, and you can see the buttons and the letters, and you're just filling in all those spots. Here's a little to add a lot of, they add a lot of interest and everything. It's so pretty when it's all done. Really, really sweet.
And the fabric glue really does work well because you can adjust things. Mm-hmm. You can pull one out if you need to and then replace it with a different button. So I definitely recommend the fabric glue as opposed to hot glue or even super glue, because super glue is going to adhere so quickly. And if you had to pull something up, it'll really leave a film. Fabric glue leaves a little bit, but you can kind of scrape it off if you really need to. So
exactly. So then the last step we do is we're going to glue your paw pieces onto your frame. And I did plug in the hot glue gun because I'm not sure if the fabric glue will dry quickly enough for me to hold it up and show you guys. But fabric glue for this would work just as well too. You just got to let it sit for a little bit, a couple minutes, and let that dry. So you could use fabric glue for the whole project if you wanted to. But basically the idea is to kind of lay your pieces down onto your canvas where you'd like them to go. Kind of wiggle those toes in place. And then you're going to go ahead and glue them down. And I'm just going to quickly use the hot glue just so I can pick this up and show everybody. But these are so cool. I love what is it? Kind of that punk junk. What is the technique?
It reminds me of the kind of steampunk.
There you go. Steampunk. Look. Yes. The steampunk stuff. It's really cool. So much fun.
I like the way that you described it. It's like if you were to open an old junk drawer in like, I did. Yeah. That's the kind of look you want. You want to be able to kind of see layers and textures. And every time you look at it, you see something new. You don't have to fill in every nook and cranny. I think that's also part of the character of it. You can still see some of that cardboard sticking through on the edges where you didn't have a bead or a button. But yeah, these really turn out cool. And adding the layers, kind of starting with that base layer and then adding like your favorite buttons. And I was picking buttons that kind of matched Ginger's coat. So they were more kind of like the copper color and stuff on top. And I used obviously copper colored beads. So I was looking for things that matched what Ginger looked like. But isn't this just the cutest little wall art? I just love it. It's so fun. It's so pretty. And again, kiddos can do this. The whole family can get together and do this. And if you have multiple dogs, wouldn't it be so cool to have one in every name? I mean, that would just be so sweet. And they make beautiful gifts for dog lovers. I mean, so simple, so easy. And I could see them as a lovely memorial too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a really sweet idea. Yeah, I love that idea. That would be nice. You could put even a black frame would be nice around this. The rest of it could stay the same, but you could have a nice frame. Oh, that's so cute.
They really turn out cute.
Yeah, they really,
and they're
really
so
do.
Fun because the closer you get and kind of, they look great from afar, but the closer you get and kind of inspect them, the more you see. And
yeah, so you really get lost in this little world of textures and colors and just even just, it makes you smile seeing your pup's name, you know, kind of tucked in there. Because somebody that's not familiar with, will all of a sudden start to see letters and start to put everything together. And I think it's just, you know, something you'll fall in love with in an instant. Really sweet. So hope everybody enjoyed today's craft. This was so much fun.
Yeah, and we do actually have a couple of these kits for these available as well.
Totally. Yeah, totally forgot about that. Yeah. The kits are selling out fast already. I can't believe it. But so thank you everybody. But we do have some kits left over. So you'll get the canvas, you'll get the scrapbook paper, you'll get the cardboard paw print already traced out for you. So all you need to do is paint it and color it, paint it, cut it out and use it for your backdrop. You get 40 buttons or more. I think, you know, more than 40 buttons. You get more than 20 beads. You get personalized letters. So you just have to tell us your pup's name and we'll give you those exact letters. And if not, we'll spell out woof for you. So you can at least have some of the little alphabet letters in there for you to put in your piece. And yeah, this makes a perfect little gift, craft kit to do on a Saturday afternoon. It's really fun.
Yeah, so check out the links. There's links in the description to step-by-step tutorial that has like the link to the Pawprint printable and also the link to the craft kit as well. So yeah, check those out. And yeah, we would love to see how yours turn out if you decide to try this one. I think this one is really cool. So please share your pictures and let us know how they turn out.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to see finished pictures of everybody's paw print. I just love looking at both of ours. They're so unique, so different. Same technique, right? But you can really customize and personalize them just for yourself. So they're really one of a kind. Yeah. I love that. Thanks, Donna. Thanks. She says, I love this. That's so sweet of you. We do too. These are so fun. Hope everybody enjoyed today. Hope we've inspired you to get out there, run to Dollar Tree, get a canvas of your own. If you're not looking for the kit, dig through your button stash. Everybody's got extra buttons laying around, right? And make one of these little beauties of your very own. All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.